What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS 3 Raw TV. Tonight, we're going to talk about something. This wasn't even the video I was going to make tonight. The video is actually... Let's fix this fucking camera. I'm going to make that shit square. The shit that I was going to make that shit square. The video I was going to make was actually the direct link. A direct link between sugar and cancer. Stuff that is out right now that is really, really kind of shocking. And that was going to be the video tonight. But after researching some of this other stuff I've been doing, and something actually popped up today that made me kind of go back to that glyphosate stuff. And it's the Roundup by Monsanto's glyphosate. There keeps having this commercial on TV that keeps flashing up, right? And it was like, if you've been exposed to Monsanto's Roundup, you may be entitled to money. It's like one of those things basically that is like a multi-joint lawsuit against the company. And they have hundreds of lawsuits pending, including they lost one for over $200 million to Dwayne Johnson, not The Rock. We've talked about this one before, that it is a carcinogen. Roundup is a carcinogen, and it is in our foods, and we do ingest it. And the information that I found that kind of popped up, actually it's from 2016. So it's outdated by 3 years, and now we're starting to see the problem. So it was like back then, they already knew. Like scientists already knew this stuff is starting to get in the food supply to the point where it is higher than they want it to be, that is concerning. But what I want you guys to understand is a lot of people will go out there and be like, well, it's fine. Listen, if your body has this carcinogen in it, right, that is in high enough levels that are concerning, where it can actually become cancer, right? It can give you cancer, right? And your body is fighting that off like a motherfucker because it's trying to kill that drug, what it's doing to your body, right? What do you think happens with these other carcinogens that come into your body? Your body literally only has so many reserves to fight off so much at one time. It gets overwhelmed. As it's trying to fight these multiple carcinogen things coming in, they start to compound, and eventually one of those carcinogens winds up taking over and you wind up getting cancer. This proves what I've been saying all along, that there is more cancer now than there was back in the day. The graphs overlapped. You can show you that it does spike. All types of cancer have gone up, all of them, and it's not due to early detection. Okay, it's not like, well, we can detect it now. No, there are people that are fucking a month away from dying, or even like my dad that was 24 hours away from dying, that they never fucking found the cancer. It killed him within 24 hours. Now, well, they found it, but they basically lied about it. But the bottom line is they know about it in the fucking people. It's not about early detection. Sometimes they find it, it's too late. So it is a slippery slope where people want to believe the best in people. They want to believe the best in the Roundup company. They want to believe the best in doctors, the best in scientists. But realistically, let's face facts. We know there's a lot of shitty people out there doing a lot of shitty stuff for a lot of money. And money is power. And money makes people do shitty stuff, including harm other people, because they don't fucking care, because they just want the money. Now, hang on to your hats, because this is actually it's pretty upsetting to me, honestly. There's your kids. Your kids could be actually the worst affected by this. And if you're a kid having these carcinogens in your body already, by the time you hit adulthood and you start to be exposed to other chemicals and things, there's going to be a fucking problem. So listen, glyphosate, the most used herbicide in the world. This is actually 2016, May 29th, 2016, this came out. Nobody's talking about this one, right? Glyphosate is the most used herbicide in the world. Has been found in the urine of 93% of American public during a unique testing project that started in 2015, so it lasted a whole year. Glyphosate, labeled as a human carcinogen by the World Health Organization, Cancer Agency, IARC in 2015, has now been revealed to be ubiquitous in the first ever comprehensive and validated LC-MS testing project to be carried out across America. So they're testing for glyphosate in your body because they were concerned with what's going on. They weren't listening to, Monsanto and say, oh, Roundup's not that big a deal. It's not enough getting in your body. They're like, you know what? We don't fucking believe you. So let's go out there and research this. And what they found was the opposite of what Monsanto has been fucking saying all along. But those internal documents were leaked from Monsanto before, like after this, which basically proves they know it was a carcinogen. They were just bullshitting the whole time. So it says, the European Union is currently in the process of putting restrictions on the use of glyphosate due to the health concerns, with member states so far unable to agree the reapproval of the chemical beyond June 2016. Glyphosate-containing herbicides are sold under trademarks as Monsanto's Roundup. Urine and the water testing results as follows. In a unique public testing project carried out by a laboratory university in California, San Francisco, glyphosate was discovered in 93% of the urine samples during early phase of testing in 2015. That was just in the early testing. This thing went on for a year. Now, pay attention. The urine and the water testing was organized by the Detox Project and commissioned by the Organic Consumers Association. The unique project, which has already provided more urine samples for testing than any other glyphosate biomonitoring urine study ever in America, was supported by members of the public who themselves paid for their urine and water samples to be analyzed for glyphosate residues by the UCSF lab. The data released in a presentation by the UCSF lab only covers the first 131 people tested. Further data from this public biomonitoring study, which now completed, will be released at the end of 2016. Again, we're in 2019 now, so there's other pieces to this, but hang on. The Detox Project will be working alongside the new larger lab later this year to enable the public once again to get whatever. Results show that both U.S. regulators have let down consumers in America. Henry Rollins, the director of Detox Project, said independent science shows that glyphosate may be a hormone hacker at these real-life exposure levels found in the food products. Real-life exposure levels. Not what is in a study, what the exposure level would have to be hypothetically to get sick. Real-life exposure, right? It means it's happening right now. The safe levels of glyphosate ingestion simply unknown, despite the EPA and Monsanto would have everyone believe. They don't know what the fuck, whatever. The Detox Project, which organizes testing, is a research platform that brings awareness to the public by testing for toxic chemicals in our bodies and our food at a very personal level. We believe everyone has the right to know what man-made toxic chemicals are in our bodies and in our food. The results. Glyphosate was found in 93% of the 131 samples tested by the average on the average level of 3.096 parts per billion. Children had the highest levels at 3.586 parts per billion. The regions with the highest levels were the West and Midwest, which is interesting, right? I guess because it's warmer in the West, maybe they use more of it because that's where the food is grown. It gets colder. I don't know. But I mean, anyways, I'm just like speculating, trying to figure out, piece things together because they're never going to fucking tell us why. They're never going to the truth. It said the Midwest had an average of 3.053 parts per billion and 3.050 parts per billion, respectively. Glyphosate residues were not observed in any of the water tap samples during the early phase of the project, most likely due to the phosphorus removal during water treatment. Results from the testing in America showed the much higher frequency and average glyphosate level than those observed in urine samples in the European Union in 2013. The average level in Europe, they made this shit illegal in Europe. It was 1 parts per billion. They said, that's fucking too much, get it out of there. We have upwards of fucking 3.5, so 3.5 parts per billion. It's like 3 times what was considered illegal in Europe, which of course we're not Europe, whatever, but I'm just trying to put some context to this, right? It says the average level in Europe was 1 part per billion, frequency detection of 43.9%. If consumers had any doubt about the extent to which they were being poisoned by Monsanto's Roundup, they used the word poison. The scientists used the word poison. These test results should put those doubts to rest. These results highlight the massive failure of the U.S. regulatory agencies, including the EPA, USDA, and FDA, to protect us, even as they continue to perpetuate the myth that low-level exposure to glyphosate is harmless. We must bring down this poison-for-profit model and build in its place a food and farming system that regenerates and heals before it's too late. They go through here and explain extracted samples are injected into the Alzheimer's machine, and blah, blah, blah. It explains how they did it, which is like really over my fucking head, to be honest with you. This glyphosate has never been studied by regulators or the chemical industry at the levels in human population is being exposed to right now. There is a huge hole in the risk assessment process for glyphosate, as evidence suggests that low levels of the chemical may hack hormones even more than high levels. A higher toxic dose does not necessarily mean more toxic hormone disruptive effect. Now they're talking just about hormones. I'm talking about cancer. I'm looking for direct links to cancer, and I'm finding all sorts of shit around us that have actual carcinogens in them. But it's like, well, there's such a low level, it doesn't matter. But the problem is low level this, low level here, low level, like 30 different things at low levels add up to fucking one big level, which your body can't fight off. Like, it's a synergy. It's a compounded fucking effect from more. It's like using more steroids. The more steroids you use, the fucking more it affects your body, right? Well, the more of this shit that gets in your body, carcinogens from different places, the more it affects your body, which affecting meaning giving you fucking cancer. So the industry-funded science from the Dark Ages suggests that the higher doses of a chemical is more dangerous than it was. However, modern independent science has discovered that many toxic chemicals have much more, even more of an influence on our health at low dosages. These chemicals are known as hormone hackers, endocrine disruptors. Study from March 2015 stated that the health cost to the European Union of just some hormone hacking chemicals in connection with a subset of illness known to be linked to hormone interference is over 150 billion euros per year. The study stated that lower IQ, adult obesity, and 5% more of autism cases are all linked to exposure to endocrine disruptors. IQ. There's a bunch of dumb motherfuckers out there now in the world. Let's face facts, right? I've seen the kids coming up now. These kids are, I mean, honestly, like, they can play video games really well, right? And they can fucking complain about shit really well, and they can fucking bitch and moan about fucking how little Johnny called them names and shit, but they're really not the fucking smartest bulbs on the tree. All right, IQ-wise, they're not there. I mean, I was the fucking dumb one in school. I look like a fucking genius compared to these kids. Adult obesity. How many adults are fat in America? Like 80% of the fucking people in America. Now, wouldn't that be something if it wasn't really about the calories themselves, like they were overeating, but they were actually hacking their hormones with fucking Roundup because they're finding a lot of it in your blood to where even if you were eating like a maintenance diet, numbers-wise, you would still fucking get fat. Think about that for a second, right? So now we have a problem that it's not only cancer, but affects obesity as well. Another problem we have in this fucking country. Massive amounts of cancer, massive amounts of fucking obese people, and more cases of autism. I was just talking about this the other day. Like when we were younger, I mean, there were kids that had mental disabilities or, you know, there was cases of autism when I was a kid. There were different types of, I don't want to call them disabilities because the kids weren't disabled. They were just like a little bit different, right? They learned a bit of a different way. It was kind of a learning, because I have learning disorders, so I guess it wouldn't be wrong saying so learning disorders based on different things that were going on with their brain. Autism, however, is just out of control compared to where it was when we were kids. And I was like, okay, people blaming the vaccinations. Like, oh, you can't vaccinate the kids anymore. Well, now they got mumps and measles and they're fucking like, listen, maybe it's the vaccinations combined with this shit. Maybe it's just this shit. There's too many things to figure it out. But this stuff is being done to us. Maybe not on purpose. Not saying that the fucking government's trying to fuck us up. What I'm saying is they're trying to find as many ways to make money as they can as businesses and companies at our expense. They just don't give a fuck. So there was that was the autism. Glyphosate is linked to be one of the hormone hacking chemicals at real life exposure levels down to 0.1 parts per billion or below, and we're at 3. So there's way more in our body that is needed to fuck us up. Regulators in the chemical industry have simply not studied the toxic effects of glyphosate at real life exposure levels, with increasing evidence from laboratory studies showing that glyphosate-based herbicides can result in a wide range of chronic illness through multiple mechanisms. It has become imperative to ascertain the levels of glyphosate in food and as a large section of the human population as possible. Dr. Michael Antonio, it's not Antonio, it looks like a French name, a molecular geneticist in London said. Now, it's got a whole bunch of other stuff on here, but it basically says, thus the information gathered by the Glyphosate Public Testing Service being offered by the Detox Project is most likely will provide invaluable information for the consumer and scientists like myself evaluating the toxicity of the real-world levels of exposure of this widely used pesticide. Now, this was, who wrote this article here? This was Organic Consumers Association is the ones that wrote this. Now, here's the deal. This shit's real. And if you don't want to pay attention to it, that's cool. I mean, it's really no skin off my back, but there's a lot of people out there that don't want cancer. There's a lot of people out there that don't want their kids to be fucked up. You know, I don't have kids. I have a dog named Brady who I look at as my kid. I don't think he's any different than a little fucking human being. I just don't. That's just how I am. I don't care how anybody else thinks. I give him the most natural products that we can give him. He has special food that's made for French bulldogs because they have nutrients in there that French bulldogs, their breed, need that would be not in some of the other different foods and stuff like that. We give him a vitamin mineral supplement every day. He takes something for his joints. He takes CBD oil. Now, you guys might be laughing at this shit, but I've had 2 dogs that lived long and healthy lives, and I want that to continue with Brady. But I want him to be more comfortable as he gets older, so I'm kind of preempting with the joint supplements and stuff like that now. So once you get to the point where you're hurting, it's hard to get ahead of that. Now, why am I talking about my dog? Because if I had a kid, I sure as fuck would not want glyphosate in that fucking kid's body. Period. Under any circumstance, for any fucking way, shape, or form. No poisons will be going in that fucking kid's body for any reason. I don't give a fuck if Monsanto likes it. I don't give a fuck. They can get fucked. It doesn't make any sense how people out there would not search out this information and go about their lives like completely blind, not paying attention to anything, thinking cancer is random or genetic, which it can be random, it can be genetic, but at the amounts we're seeing and the percentages we're seeing, There's something causing it. Environmental, food, it's both. Both of those things are happening. Now, why aren't these companies stepping up and going like, here's the deal, like, you know, if this glyphosate could cause cancer, we suggest that you avoid all these other fucking products because these could cause cancer too, and compound it, they can't because then they're putting the other companies out of fucking business. Like, they literally just have to stick to their fucking thing, tell their truth, which is not the truth, and hope that nobody sues them. I mean, they already paid $200-something million, which is a drop in the bucket, but now you get these things on TV because it's true. They know for a fact this stuff is fucking people up and giving them non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, I believe, is the cancer they're talking about on TV, and they have linked it to it directly. And the levels that we have in our body back in 2016, which just now in 2019, the shit's coming out that it gives cancer. How many people do you think died a horrible, miserable, painful death because of having fucking Roundup in their body? Glyphosate, sorry, well, Roundup's a brand name, but glyphosate. I'd say a lot of people. So until people wake the fuck up and start going, and I don't know what the answer is because I don't know everything that this shit's in. This shit is in so many fucking foods that we're ingesting that we don't even know. Like, I looked up lists, there's tons of fucking lists, and every time I look, there's another list with new fucking foods. I'm like, literally, there's going to be nothing left, no matter even if I grow it my fucking self. Somehow it's in the ground, I guess. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but there's no way to avoid getting it in your body. So until we find something that I personally feel is not an antidote, but something that can reverse the effects of this, which I don't know what the fuck that would be. Could it be a drug? Could it be something natural? Abstinence. Stay away from the fucking products that have it in it. Or at least be aware of what the fuck is going on so that, you know, you have the tools to fight back. If you look up all that shit on the fucking, on what Roundup is in some of the foods you're eating, fuck those companies. Get rid of them. Get that shit out of your fucking house. Don't feed it to your kids. Don't feed it to your dog. Take it and fucking put it in the fucking trash. I don't even, maybe you shouldn't even put it in the trash because it's going to go in the ground and seep in the ground. Like, I don't even know, burn it. I don't know. Then it goes in the air. I don't even know what to do with it. Like, put it on a fucking rocket, send it into space, then you're going to kill the fucking aliens. There's nothing to do with this shit. It's going to hurt somebody somewhere no matter what you do with it, but don't ingest it. Do not ingest something that has this fucking shit in it, and there are plenty of lists. Just Google lists of glyphosate-contained foods, or foods that contain glyphosate, or Monsanto, or Roundup foods that contain glyphosate. Like, there's all these keywords that they all the same shit pops up, but dig. Don't stay on that first page on Google. Dig. Go 3, 4, 5 pages back and really start digging and really get super fucking technical with, you know, your searches too. Type in a whole fucking sentence instead of just keywords in Google, and you'd be surprised what the fuck pops up because that shit is buried. But this day and age, information age, you can't get away from it. So hopefully this sheds a little more light still. I am digging. I am not going to let this fucking shit go. I am 100% certain that cancer is avoidable, and it is something that we can maintain being healthy without getting cancer as we get older if we make the right choices and know what the fuck is going on and avoid those carcinogens. But we have to identify them first. And half the problem is people don't believe it, so nobody's identifying. But I'm going to be identifying. If nothing else, just for my fucking self, my family, my friends, my followers, people that are interested in it. If anybody else wants to fucking research, go on your own and fucking do it up. Put the information out. Tag me in the shit. I'll fucking repost it. Whatever. But the bottom line is, guys, burying your head in the sand, acting like it's not real, doesn't make it go away. It doesn't change reality. And I promise you, it hasn't happened to me, knock on wood, but it happened to my dad. It happened to my grandmother. It happened to my mother. 2 of those 3 people died of cancer horribly. When you sit in the doctor's office and they look you in the eye and say, I'm sorry, you have blah, 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 such and such cancer. There is nothing we can do. We can try to keep it off a little bit, maybe give you 6 months max, but this is terminal and you need to get your affairs in order. When you hear that to your fucking face, I promise you are not going to be fucking thinking about, I just want to eat cheeseburgers, I don't care what's in it. You're going to be shitting bricks that you're leaving your fucking family behind. You have X amount of time, which you don't know when the fuck you're going to go. My dad had less than 24 hours. I hope he said everything he needed to say to my mom, and she said everything she needed to say to him, because I didn't even have time to get back there and say it to him myself. That fucking cancer robbed me of my chance to tell my father that I loved him one last fucking time before he died. So I take this shit personal. Cancer, I take it personal, man. I will fucking fight you and figure this shit out to the day I fucking die for what you've done to my family and everyone else out there. All right, I'm talking to cancer like it's a person. Fuck it. But the bottom line is, that shocking fucking statement, when you hear it, can be avoided. Why the fuck would you not do everything in your fucking power to avoid that? Because you don't think it's going to happen to you. Just like the person who got into a car accident is paralyzed. Not going to happen to me. Just like the person who stepped off the bus and fucking broke their ankle on a fucking curb. Not gonna happen to me. It's like the person that went to the fucking mall and tried to steal something and get caught. I'm gonna steal it. Not gonna happen to me. I'm not gonna get caught. It's never you until it is. And when it is, you wish it wasn't you. So why not take some fucking time, teach yourself some shit. Don't be a fucking sheep. Learn and fucking avoid the things that are gonna cause you to fucking die early and leave your family. Like, it's not a fucking joke. It's real life, guys. So hopefully in closing, somebody watches this, somebody researches, somebody fucking changes something in their life, somebody helps somebody else understand it, somebody does whatever they can to get the word out that cancer is avoidable. We just have to be fucking smart about it. BioStrengthTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. BioStrength.com is a blog. It's the we gotta be smarter than this bicep. Smarter than my bicep. And we are out.